some weird questions. Some really funny weird questions. Let's go. First one goes: how many ants can build a house? Okay, I'm going to Gemini right now. I'm going to paste it there. How many ants can build a house? So Gemini says that's an interesting question. I guess the art of how ants operate it. The simple answer is that it's not a specific number, but rather a collective effort by an entire colony. Ants are social insects and they don't work alone. A single ant can't build a house, but a colony can build a complex nest, often referred to as an ant hill or formicary. Number of ants in a colony can vary dramatically depending on the species, the age of the colony, and environmental factors. Here's the breakdown. Small colonies. Some colonies can have as few as a few dozen ants. Most ant colonies contain between, that's average colonies, they contain between 20,000 and 100,000 ants. Wow. Okay, let's see. So you can't put a single number on it. You can say that it takes a cooperative effort of an entire colony. Okay. So an entire colony can build a house. Hi guys. So don't feel bad. That's how Speed started, right? Speed started with one person watching his videos consistently before he got a lot more viewers. So that's the positive attitude that we need to have. Okay. Next question says, can fats be used to cause an explosion? Yeah, I thought of that. Can fats be used to cause an... Yeah, it's fair, right? Explosion. So I'm asking Gemini this. Oh, thanks. Saying you like my English. It's Nigerian English. So, question says, can fats be used to cause an explosion? Fats can be used to cause an explosion, but it's not as simple as just lighting a match. The possibility of a fat explosion depends entirely on the chemical composition of the gases released. Okay. Primary gases in a fat are I didn't know this, like fats have these complex chemicals. So in a fat, they said we have nitrogen, oxygen, methane, hydrogen, carbon dioxide, and hydrogen sulfide. So we have all this in our fats. That's crazy. Thanks for subbing, Moko the Milky Bar. Okay, so of these, methane and hydrogen are highly flammable. Oh, okay. So I have flammable gas in my fat. Methane is the same gas used in home stoves, and hydrogen is an extremely combustible gas. The characteristic smell comes from a very small amount of sulfur containing gases like hydrogen sulfide. Okay, so the smell just comes from one small part of the gas that comes out of a fat. Interesting. What if you could reduce that particular gas to reduce the smell of fat? For a fat to cause an explosion, 3 conditions must be met, often referred to as fire triangle. Fuel, the fat must contain a sufficient concentration of flammable gas, methane and hydrogen. Oxygen, there must be enough oxygen in the surrounding air to allow for combustion. Heat, an ignition source such as a flame or a spark is required to ignite the gases. So does that mean if I fart around a gas cylinder that is on fire, it could become a bigger fart? Okay, someone said, what am I talking about? I'm talking about can fats be used to cause an explosion? So I'm asking AI this, right? So AI says, in a closed space, a very high concentration of these gases could theoretically lead to a more violent reaction. Okay, but in an open air environment, it will likely be a small, harmless burst of flame rather than a large explosion. So a small flame can even come out of that area. That's crazy. Okay, I don't play Call of Duty. Someone is asking that. Why is it unlikely to be dangerous? Okay, while the fat can burn, it's highly unlikely to cause a dangerous explosion. The volume of gas in a single fat is very small, and the concentration of flammable gases is usually low. So the flammable gas dissipates quickly in open air, making it nearly impossible to sustain a flame, let alone cause a powerful explosion. You would need an extraordinary amount of accumulated methane and hydrogen in a very confined space for a truly powerful and dangerous explosion to occur. So, for fat to turn to flame, it has to be very concentrated. I mean, if some particular gases in the fat, they have to be concentrated in a very small space. So, to make that happen, you would probably need a bunch of people in a close space, fatting excessively. Maybe they eat a lot of protein, so they are really fatting a lot, and there's a spark, like match spark. If you combine that with the fat, with the concentrated space, a lot of people in a close space, I think, and a fire explosion can happen in that kind of setting. So you need a lot of people in a very small space for fat to cause explosion. Okay. Next question is: can you build a bridge with fruit? So that's the next question I asked. Now I'm going to put that in my Gemini. So, can you build a bridge with fruit? Let's see. The answer says yes, you can build a bridge with fruit, but it wouldn't be very strong or durable. The feasibility of a fruit bridge depends on the type of fruit and use and design of the bridge. Okay. The main challenge with using fruit as a building material is its inherent weakness. Most fruits have a high water content, which makes them soft, squishy, and prone to decay. They lack the structural integrity to withstand significant weight or pressure. For example, trying to build a bridge out of grapes or bananas would be impossible because they would simply compress under their own weight. Fruits with more potential. Okay, let's see. To build a functional, though still fragile, fruit bridge, you would need to select fruits with a denser farmer structure. So, like apples and pears, these fruits are relatively hard and could be used uh, as solid building blocks. You would have to cut them into uniform shapes to create a stable foundation. Okay. Melons and gourds, pumpkins, watermelons and gourds are large and have a hard grind. You could hollow them out. Oh, that's true. The shell of the casing of watermelons could be used to build a bridge and use them as larger, lighter structural components. Dried fruits like dates. Oh yeah, dates are quite hard. Especially the seeds. We could use the seeds of those fruits to build a bridge, right? This guy is saying his brain exploded from today's test. Oh, sorry about that. Tests are quite hard. Annoying, I mean, exams and tests in school. Okay, they're still giving me trauma to now. Like when I think about the fact that they like trying to picture myself in an exam hall, it's quite tedious. So back to the word questions. So we are answering the question of can fruits be used to build a bridge? All right. So dried fruits like dates or prunes are more denser and less watery, making them more resilient. But they are too small to be used as primary building blocks. Too small? What does that mean? You could just like mash them together, and use them to form a material that could be used to form blocks, right? Even with the firmest fruit, You would need to use a binding agent like honey or thick sugar paste to hold the pieces together. The bridge would only be able to support a very small light object and it would quickly rot and become unstable. Okay, true, true. We need a binding agent. Yeah, true. My phone broken or is mic? Is my mic bad? What's wrong with my mic? Can you hear me clearly? Right. Next question. Can you build a bridge with? No, that's what I just answered. But someone asked what Jangilofa means. Jangilofa means swing in Nigeria, and it just I just use it to my song to like promote it. So I'm using it to signify or to mean surprise or you're surprised. Yep. What did you say, Rami? Today is your grandmother's. Oh, your grandma's house exploded from the AC. That's crazy. Sorry about that. Hope she's okay. Your phone. Oh, okay. Sorry. How did you write that? What else? What else? What else? Okay, I'm done checking. Back to the questions. Um, how many Drakes? So this one I asked. How many Drakes? How many Drakes would it take to win Kendrick Lamar in a rap battle? Oh, what phone am I using to video? I'm using Poco X6 Pro. Poco X6 Pro. Do you know the phone? It's an okay camera, not too bad. It's Redmi. Yeah, it's a Xiaomi company. So, how did you know that? Okay, I'm supposed to ask Gemini a question, right? Can you do a backflip? I wish I could do a backflip, but um, it's just going back. I tried it. Going back without knowing where our land is just quite scary for me. I never learned it. I think I would still want to learn it in a place where it's cool to learn, like foamy, bouncing castles, stuff like that. I don't do gaming. Gaming. I used to do gaming before, but I tried it again, and they're just so complex. It's like an exam. So instead of doing gaming, I just try to do gaming with my life, right? The phone in my hand is a Galaxy 832. Yeah, 832. Can you do a 10 minutes backflip now? Shit. Oh, you love my hair. Thank you. So, next question says, how many drakes would it take to win Kendrick Lamar in the rap battle? This is a fantastic question that gets at the heart of the recent and very public rap feud between Drake and Kendrick Lamar. The question isn't about numbers in the traditional sense, it's a metaphorical one about skill, strategy, and impact. Given the outcome of that 2024 feud, this guy is able to researching the results. It seems like the answer is that that it would take more than one Drake to win a rap battle against one Kendrick Lamar. Seems like this guy has sense. Here's a breakdown of why. Based on the public reception of the battle, Kendrick Lamar's strengths, Kendrick is widely regarded as a master lyricist and storyteller. His diss track, Euphoria, and Not Like Us, were praised for their surgical precision. This guy is glazing. Yeah, he's glazing Kendrick. Multi-layered attacks and ability to shift the narrative. Not Like Us, in particular, became a cultural phenomenon and a major hit, effectively landing a decisive blow in the court of public opinion. Deep. Drake's strengths and challenges. Drake is a master of melody, versatility, and creating massive radio-friendly hits. True, 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 true. This guy has not lied. His diss tracks such as Push-Ups and Family Matters showed his ability to be aggressive and direct. However, he was widely criticized for his perceived lack of cohesive, impactful counter narrative and for what many saw as a weaker lyrical performance compared to Kendrick. True, 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 true. In the end, many hip hop critics, fans, and media outlets concluded that Kendrick Lamar won the battle. The consensus was that Kendrick's lyrical skill, storytelling. I know all this. What are you telling me? An ability to deliver a knockout blow were too much for Drake to overcome, even with his massive commercial success and catalog. So, while it's a fun thought experiment, the reality of the situation seems to be that a single focused and lyrically devastating Kendrick Lamar was more than a match for one Drake. Yeah, but you didn't give me the, like Gemini is just beating around the bush. I'm trying to get how many Drakes is gonna take to beat Kendrick, but he's just telling me stories. So I don't like this answer. Do better next time, Gemini. AI still got work to do. But then it's an abstract question, so it's not really something that can be answered with numbers, I guess. So the question is probably 40. But let me, I feel like it might take like 5 Drakes to beat Kendrick. Yep. Okay, so let me see what people are saying over here. Uh, did you have any struggle? Tell them my struggles right now. That's another day, another story for another day. Kendrick will win, of course. Did you? Okay. I think I'm white or brown. I think white because I'm not dark like you. I'm sorry. Why are you confused? Did you? I'm too close to the mic. Oh, okay. I'm too close to the mic. Let's see. Reduce. No, don't reduce. Just noise cancellation, I guess. Uh, what's 2 plus 2? Wrong as Azoli. 2 plus 2 is 3. I had fun talking to you. Thank you. Your first viewer, true. My first viewer, Rami El Masri. Did I call your name right? All right, later. So we go on to the next question. How many people's trash in a month can fill up the Mississippi River? So I'm looking at no, 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 no. Let's look at how much? Okay, let's how much? How many people's monthly trash can fill up the Mississippi River? Let's see. 5 divided by 2 is 2 point something. Is it 2.5? Rango. Why should I say Rango? Okay. So this is why is AI always glazing me? I asked it how many people's trash in a month can fill up the Mississippi River, and the AI is telling me this is a fascinating question. I don't need to hear that it's a fascinating question. Just give me an answer straight up. So it says this is a fascinating question that requires some big picture thinking and a little bit of math. Of course, it requires math. That's why I'm asking because I can't do the math. The answer is that it would take the monthly trash from a mind-boggling number of people, likely in the tens or even hundreds of millions. Whoa! To fill up the Mississippi River. So it's that big. That's crazy. Here's how we can break down the calculation, which is more of a thought experiment than a precise scientific answer. Okay. The volume of Mississippi River, the Mississippi River's volume isn't constant. It changes based on location and season. However, we can use the river's average discharge rate to estimate how much water flows out in a month. The average flow rate of the Mississippi River is about 600,000 cubic feet per second near its mouth. To find the monthly volume, we'll convert that to cubic feet per month. 600,000 feet, uh, 3 per s. I don't know what how to say this. What's this 3 per s thing? All this. Oh yeah. So to find monthly volume, blah blah blah. This equals approximately one. Wow, that's a lot of zeros. That's like 1,000 billion cubic. What's 1,000 billion? Is it quadrillion? Is it zillion? Who knows? Cubic feet per month. That's over. Oh, okay, yeah. I forgot there's something like trillion. So that's over 1.5 trillion cubic feet of water. 7,000 billion. That's crazy. The volume of an average person's trash. This is a bit harder to pin down as trash volume varies greatly. However, we can use some estimates for waste production in the United States. The average American produces about 4.9 pounds of trash per day. Converting this to a monthly amount, we got 4.9 lbs per day times 30 days per month equals 147 lbs. So to get a volume, we need to consider the density of trash, which is not uniform. The density of municipal solid waste in a landfill is typically between 600 and 1,000 pounds per cubic yard. Let's use a rough estimate of 600 lbs. This answer is quite complicated. I think you should ask ChatGPT yourself or AI, any AI you use. I'm currently using Gemini. So the final answer is saying number of people, blah, 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 blah. The number is staggering over 235 billion people. What? It's a testament to the immense size and power of the Mississippi River. That's crazy. So you need over 235 billion people to have wastes, their wastes in a month to fill up the Mississippi River. That's crazy. What? There are not even 235 billion people on Earth. What? And not just the Mississippi River. We're not talking all the other rivers or water bodies, oceans combined. So, oh my lord, Earth is really big. Wow. Okay. So the number is staggering, of course. The word answer is even more complex as trash wouldn't just sit in the river, it would float, break apart, or disperse. But this thought experiment gives us a sense of the scale. It would take the combined trash of more than the entire population of the planet several dozens, for several times over, to even come close to filling the river in a single month. Hmm, that's a deep answer. Okay, I'm giving props to AI for giving me this detailed answer because I think this answer requires more calculation and math. So it's able to really like answer it and calculate it. Well, that's cool. AI is pretty smart. I mean, damn, we have this at our fingertips. It's a time to be alive. I love it. Okay, let's see more answers. What fart? Mm. Okay, that didn't sound right. Next one, Jangilofa. Thank you for saying Jangilofa. All right, you love my shots. Thank you, Bobla. Okay, can you call an Italian and say that you placed pineapple on pizza? Don't know. I don't know an Italian. If you pop again, I'll rejoin. Nice. Okay, next question. Let's see. So all those questions came from my head, but I told AI to give me 50 more questions. So we are moving to the ones AI gave me. So let me show you the prompt I gave AI before I got the more 50 questions. I said, give me 50 more word questions like the ones below. So I pasted the questions I just asked. They 5. Now AI is going to give me 50 more questions like that to ask. So I'm asking the first one. What's the optimal number of squirrels needed to power a small laptop? Okay, that's that's a funny question. Let me ask AI. What's the optimal number of squirrels needed to power a small laptop? Yep.
Idea is fun. The optimal number of squirrels to power a small laptop is 0. It's a hypothetical question because squirrels can't generate usable electricity in a practical way. Why it's not possible? Powering a laptop requires a steady, consistent flow of electricity at a specific voltage and wattage. A small laptop needs about 20 to 60 watts of power. Physical limitations. A squirrel's metabolic output is nowhere near what's needed. They generate a tiny amount of energy through their body heat and movement, but it's not electricity. You would
Yeah,
need a
not
highly
electricity.
complex, inefficient, and likely dangerous system of miniature generators, harnesses, and treadmills to even attempt to convert a squirrel's kinetic energy into
Wow,
electricity.
treadmills.
The amount of energy produced would be negligible and not nearly enough to power a modern laptop.
Are you serious?
Ethical concerns. Using animals in this way is unethical and would be a form of animal cruelty. The
Well,
constant running and stress would be harmful to the
I'm not
squirrels,
trying to
and
do
the
that.
energy output would be minimal. In reality,
Just
a laptop
hypothetical.
is powered by a lithium-ion battery that holds a charge and delivers a constant,
What?
reliable current. The concept of using squirrels to power it while a creative thought experiment is not feasible.
Nah, AI is giving me dumb answers this time. That answer is quite dumb. Okay, it's feasible. I really think it's feasible. I think I'm smarter than AI in this aspect because we're talking. Or I feel like what you need to get squirrels to power a laptop is get the squirrels to be running on like a hamster wheel, and that hamster wheel will create that kind of circular motion that powers either windmill or what's the other one? The dam thing, dam water electricity generator stuff. So you could use that and it's rolling and creating the electricity, right? So you could have multiple, you could have like 50 of squirrels or maybe 1,000, and they could be doing that across different hamster wheels. And you connect all the, you connect, link all of that to wires, and you could you link the wires up and use it to create electricity, and that could power a laptop. So yes, smarter than you, AI. I just answered a question that AI can't answer. I feel good. Okay, what are people saying? Shout out to Glow Toast. Next, next question. Okay, how many chickens would it take to light a light bulb? I think AI is going to give me.
You couldn't use chickens to light a light bulb.
See?
Like the squirrel question, this is a fun hypothetical, but it's not possible in a practical, real-world scenario.
Shut up.
The power needed. A typical incandescent light bulb requires between 40 and 100 watts of electrical power to light up. An LED bulb, which is more efficient, still requires 5 to 15 watts. This power must be delivered consistently and at the correct voltage.
Okay.
Why chickens can't do it?
You could
Chickens,
use
like
a
all
battery.
living things, produce a
Instead
small
of-
amount of
it
energy,
doesn't have to be
but it's in the
consistent.
form of body heat and kinetic energy from movement. There is no biological or mechanical way to convert this energy into the kind of electricity needed to power a light bulb. Lack of a power source. Chickens don't have internal biological
Nah,
generators.
you're saying
You would need
rubbish.
to attach a tiny,
Nope.
highly efficient generator to each chicken's leg to convert its walking or scratching
Uh-uh.
movements into electricity.
No,
Low energy output.
I don't believe
The
it.
amount of it.
Okay, let's see if there's another question that is not about light, because seems as if AI is not handling these electricity questions very well. Okay, so can a cat be trained to be a success? Okay, let's give me some funny questions. Can a cat be trained to rob a bank?
No. A cat cannot be trained to rob a bank.
Huh?
This is a purely fictional concept, and
What?
here's a breakdown of why it's not possible, based
Hmm.
on animal behavior and intelligence. 1.
You think
Lack
this
of
guy doesn't
cognitive
have it?
ability. Bank robbery is a complex, multi-step process that requires advanced cognitive skills far beyond a cat's capabilities.
No.
This includes understanding abstract concepts. A
Uh-uh.
cat cannot understand concepts like money, bank, theft, or
What?
getaway. They don't have the mental
This AI
capacity
is
for
dumb.
abstract thought. Following complex instructions. Training
No,
a
no,
cat
no,
to
no,
perform
no.
a simple trick
No,
like
no, no, no.
sit or stay
I don't
is
agree with
difficult.
I don't agree with this. I have to stop it because these are like dumb. I mean, they train monkeys to steal from people. So why can't they train cats to rob banks? Nah, I think it's tripping there. Cats can definitely be trained to rob banks. You just have to train it continuously. But passing the security, whatever, I don't know about that. But it could rob the bank when Okay, it probably needs the help of a human being. So maybe when people are not inside, or you could sneak in with people. Yeah, could just sneak in when someone is entering, and probably person didn't see the cart. Maybe hide in a bag, and when it gets inside, just move about very fast, quickly, jump, take the money, and run back. People will be screaming like, ah! They would even be running away from the cart, and then it takes the money in the mouth, like a bunch of money in the mouth. Yeah, boom, like it could be $100 bills, and it just has a like wad of cash in his mouth. And it's going. Quickly run back out. Boom. Yes, I think a cat can rob a bank, definitely. Okay, what's the next question? Uh, if you fill a swimming pool with a jello, how long? Okay, would it take to swim from one end to the other? If you fill a swimming pool with jello, how long would it take to swim from one end to the other?
It would be nearly impossible to swim through a swimming pool filled with jello. The time it would take is immeasurable because the physical properties of jello make traditional swimming impossible. The science of jello. Jello is a hydrogel, a solid-like substance made mostly of water but with a polymer network that
swim,
gives
but
it
you
a
can move through
semi-rigid
it.
structure. It's not a liquid like water, so it can't be pushed out of the way to propel a person forward. Swimming requires displacing a fluid. Jello's resistance to being displaced would create an insurmountable obstacle, the swimming process. Instead of swimming, you would likely have to push and pull your way through the gelatinous mass. The process
Yes,
would be
exactly.
slow,
You can push
strenuous,
yourself.
and more like a combination of a crawl and a dig. You would have to physically move the large viscous chunks of jello out of your path.
True.
The time it would take is immeasurable.
Yeah.
Factors such as the person's strength, the density and temperature of the jello, and the size of the pool would all affect the outcome. It could take hours, days,
Huh?
or even weeks just to cover a short distance.
What?
A fun analogy. Think of it like trying to swim through a giant, very thick block of rubber. While it has some give, it's not a fluid you can move through. The resistance would
I think it would take probably 30 minutes for me. Yeah. Um how many rubber ducks would you need to build a floatable raft for an adult? Um okay, it's you. Let me see that. Floatable what? Okay, floatable raft. How many rubber ducks would it take to build a floatable raft for an adult? Okay.
It would take tens of
I'm not
thousands
married.
of rubber ducks to build a floatable raft for an adult.
Oh,
The exact
sorry.
number depends on the person's weight and the size and buoyancy of the ducks. The calculation. Here's a breakdown of the physics behind the estimate. 1. Person's weight. Let's assume an average adult weighs about 180 pounds, 82 kilogram. 2. Required buoyancy to float. The raft must displace a weight of water equal to the person's weight. So we need the ducks to provide at least 180 pounds of upward force. 3. Rubber duck buoyancy. The
Okay.
buoyancy of a single rubber duck is its own volume multiplied by the density of water, minus the duck's own weight. A standard rubber duck, about 3.5 inches long, weighs around 0.05 pounds, but
Okay.
displaces a volume of water that can support about 0.25 pounds of weight. In other words, its net positive buoyancy is about 0.20 pounds. 4. Number of ducks. To find the number of ducks needed, you divide the required buoyancy, the person's weight, by the buoyancy of a single duck. 180 text LBS divided by 0.20 text LBS per duck equals 900 text ducks. However, this is a simplified calculation. It doesn't account for the weight of the raft structure itself, the glue, straps, or frame used to hold the ducks together, or the fact that a person sitting on the raft would submerge some of the ducks, reducing their buoyancy. A more realistic estimate would be at least 1,000 to 2,000 ducks for a lightweight adult, and more for a larger person or a more substantial raft. Furthermore, a significant portion of the ducks would have to be secured to the sides of the raft to provide stability and prevent it from flipping over. The sheer volume of ducks would be massive.
Really? Okay. Talking about like 2,000 dogs can support a raft with an adult. Okay. So we're looking at numbers like that. Maybe like 5,000 can create a raft. Who knows? Or 10,000 dogs. Right? Just got broke up. Sorry about that. It's it happens. I mean, it's part of life. Just have to keep moving. Probably find someone better. Okay. Are you a good YouTuber? Mini Lelo. So, yo. Okay, I think we're done for today. We've answered like 10 questions or thereabouts. So, catch you next time. Dun, 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 dun.